Alright, welcome. So between 1965 and 75, the US and its allies dropped millions of bombs on Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. This map, which is created from the digitized mission reports, shows the recorded bombing sorties that have available geographic data. Where it's a visual record of one of the largest aerial bombardments in history. Actually, this has been given us a tutorial. I will link it down here. And the thing that inspired me to kind of get back to it and show by representing it in a different way as it has been shown in the tutorial is to see how different representation can how a difference can be brought by different representation, and that's what I'm doing here. So just to mention the major type of data sets that are used here is the terrain. You can see the terrain, just added a couple of other data set, but it all started with these missions data, and you can open the we can open the attribute table to see what is in there. Let's do that a little quick. Well, we just have the location of each bombardment from the digitization report, and then we have the location that it took place, and then we have a simplified date column field. So the next data set that we have is the country's data, and that's where I did dissolving, merging all those operations and came up with this data and just represented it in my own way to create the difference. And I'm going to show you just one of these. Go to symbology. Then I came in here, I'll change. So this is a negative offset that I have applied to these data, and you can see, and that's the one that creates the highlight or the accentuation of these area, to just bring everything to the foreground, my area of focus. Well, that came from the world countries, and then I've added the Firefly grids. Then this is the missions CSV data. Then we added the countries and symbolized them based on status and population, and I've labeled them differently to just show or emphasize on the importance of those cities of the world. And after there, I've done a couple of other things that you are going to follow up with the tutorial, and you're going to catch up with them. And the other thing that I did was to create a layout, and that's what I did here. I brought everything here. And wait, one more thing that I should mention is the symbology that I used for representation of the bombardments. And I came here, I'll show you in just a little quick here. So I have downloaded this Firefly style, and I'm not quite sure which one, but I used one of these which have a center shooting star and a white center. And then after I did that, I modified a couple of other things, properties of that, reduced the size, tweaked transparency a little bit for each one of these, and then based on what the representation is, I changed its transparency and size on that, to sort of create or show these patterns. And one reason that I will show you as to why I chose to symbolize based on that is and I'll show you. For instance, if we pick on that, you'll see how cluttering and overcrowded the map becomes. It doesn't make any sense, you know, even it takes time to draw, and that's not what we want. Alright, let's wait for it to draw. Alright, you can tell it. We are going to stop it at this point because it's going to clutter everything. Just have what we have symbolized. So that's the best reason as to why you should symbolize, because it also emphasizes or creates the patterns, as we will show you or see on the other end. So let's come to this part. I know we've got some which are drawing here, and now then we got the layout, and then things that I made sure I paid attention to is my labeling, because now I'm using different thematic, you know, colors and all that. I just made sure that my colors were friendly, not causing a lot of conflicts in my map. And then I just chose to settle with just 3 colors: these shade of blue, this fiery, the blazing fiery color, and then the Arctic white color, which I'm just changing the transparency in the representation that it's just making. So, and then I'm going to get inside just a little bit to these and see what is happening. Alright, I'm going to remove that, so you can tell that there is something which is happening here from the tutorial. If you're going to follow along with it, you're going to see all the steps, but I just chose to do it on my own way and to make these colors pop out. So this is the chart that shows the bombardments from 1965 to 75. You can tell that in some years the action was very intense, and others are shooting very high. And you can tell by the time the war was reducing, there was a little bit of a peak, and then it reduced significantly. And on this insert map, you're just using the hexagon to represent the number of bombardments in each hexagon of 1,000 square miles in area. So and the size just represent the higher number as they are. If the dot is small, in the same case, the number of bombardments in that particular location is just as small as that hexagon is. And then I'm going to scroll just a little bit up so that you can get closer to the patterns of the bombardment, and you will see it here. It's taking some time to draw it. There are millions of points. I bet you know that. Alright, so you can see how patterns are starting to form. And then the reason why I just did this is just to show how different data set can be viewed or can be displayed. Alright, and then I came to the title of the map. Just want to show you how it has been labeled. I'm applying a style to these, and I hope it's good. And that's all that we had to present about this map. Just showing it different as I did compared to what it has been displayed in the tutorial. Check out with the tutorial down here if you just want to follow up with it. Have any questions, just let me know. Bye bye.